Hi there, how's it? It is Tuesday, the 31st of May, in the morning. Well, it was morning, it has become afternoon now. I've been busy doing whatever. So I'm about to make my drinks. I did let you guys know that I wanted to show you how I make them. I put them in these mason jars that I bought some time ago and I store them in the fridge. Okay. But before I make them, I want to have a little bit of a conversation. I'm alone in the house today, thankfully, so I can just talk my mind, right? My mother is wherever she's at, and Licity's friend is wherever she's at, and so is Licity, so thank God for being alone. Okay, so these drinks that I'm about to make are a combination of things for me. They do a combination of things for me in terms of my general overall health. And I'm going to show you the ingredients. I'm running out of two of them, and there are some of them that I don't even have right now because I didn't get them because they were not available at the time, or I couldn't afford to get them or whatever. All right, but either way, the concoction, the combination achieves certain things for me. So these drinks, I started taking them, right? So my skin, right? Somewhere along the way, all of a sudden, I started to break out. I started to get acne, and it's not something that I had. I had been acne free for a couple of years after getting off Accutane, and I just suddenly started getting acne. As you can see over here, I've got this like new pimple. This is a fading one. Like, such things keep happening. Benzoyl peroxide keeps it at bay, but I still, like, I'm breaking out in a way that I never used to. So I can never really entirely get rid of my hyperpigmentation. That would be the dark spots that I left behind. So because of this desperate situation that I found myself in, there was a time when my mother used to give me 600 rands every month. Now I get nothing at all, right? So with this like 600 bucks, I was like, what is wise to do with this tiny little amount of money to preserve myself, to keep myself in high spirits? What can I do? I obviously could not do big things that I wanted to do, like service my car, etc., get my license disc renewed, driver's license. I couldn't do any of that. So I was like, well, I mean, what can I do? And then I realized that people are hurting me. They're breaking me. I am 37 years old. I'm turning 38 in August. So in just like over 2 months. And I have been in this position, in this situation, this very terrible one, for pretty much since I was 29. People have destroyed my future. They've taken away everything from me and have left me to sit here aging, basically. They don't care. Like, I live in a country full of such wickedness that people just literally watch a person lose everything and they do nothing because they're all just so involved in sorcery. And they love to watch people grovel so much. That's the thing about witchcraft. Like, after the witch has cast a spell, they just stand back and they watch their victims suffer under the sorcery. So I have spent almost a decade of my life being watched suffer. Like I'm in the cabin in the woods, like I'm in the Hunger Games arena or whatever. I have an audience that are just watching me suffer. And this is going to be going on for as long as it takes for me to get out of this situation, right? So people have just easily watched a beautiful, glorious young woman lose literally an entire decade of her life, all of the years of her prime, her childbearing years, her marriage years, the time when I was supposed to be making a family. I come from a time when I was a member of somebody's family, like my family, my mother's family, and then I became an independent young woman that was headed towards making her own family. And they took away the years that within which I was going to then establish my own family, and they don't care. They all have been just dilly-dallying up and down these streets, getting their own families. They've been giving birth, they've been growing in prosperity, they've been growing in their careers, they've been basically living while I sit here languishing, and there isn't a single eye that is turning to look back and be like, but what are we doing? And I recently came back to Facebook to show them, look what your witchcraft did to my life, and they've all just gone mum. They're silent. This time around, they're watching me the same way that you would watch the Hunger Games, because I am actively like recording my life every single day. And I am entering into my 8th year of abuse. I am in my 8th year of abuse. Next year it's going to be 9 years, and they will officially have taken away an entire decade of my life if I do get to, you know, like 40. And they will have just done that so casually. It'll have just come to them so easily. That will have been something that has been done to me without anybody actually batting an eyelid. And by anybody, I'm speaking not only of these wicked friends, but family members, close, immediate too. So we are not even speaking distant relatives. I wasn't ever thrown into like some uncle that doesn't quite understand why he has to go and take care of a niece. It's my like blood relatives that are immediate to me that have done this to me. and it's very painful. It's extremely excruciating. Why it is that to find myself in this position, every birthday hurts so badly because it's every day that is being taken away from me. It's every year that is aging my eggs, taking away from me children. It's every year that I get older, and so therefore what I imagine less desirable. And so it's just taking away my family, the one that I'm supposed to make. Okay? I'm not gonna cry as I talk because I'm languishing right now. Like, I'm in so much pain. It's not even funny. Like, it's exquisite. It's just on another level. Like, yeah, it's like I've been skinned, and the smallest little amount of just like touching me negatively just makes me hurt so badly. Like, everything hurts that much more, so much more than it would have if I wasn't done this too. So the smallest little braise on my cheek feels like a cut, a gash, and everyone is so insensitive, and I don't understand why God allows new things to come into my space and hurt me like this, because I can't take more. Okay, I don't understand it. Like, anyway, let's just talk. I'm not gonna cry. So people have taken away all of my childbearing years. Well, maybe not all of them, but they've literally pushed me to a place where I might even struggle to conceive because I've got a geriatric womb, and they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They've taken away my children. They're so cavalier. They are so cavalier. Like, they're literally just carrying on with their lives like nothing is up. And I don't understand that. I don't get that. But you know, it's happening. Anyway, I'm gonna try and swallow my tears by moving on, right? To something to whatever it is that I'm talking about. So when my skin started breaking out, I was like, my goodness, they're gonna take that too? Like, if I was still employed, I would have quickly run to the dermatologist and he would have quickly fixed it. I would have never had to deal with acne or acne scarring, none of that. It would have been dealt with as quickly as I initially, the very first time I broke out, dealt with it. I was on the contraceptive pill, I got off it, and as soon as I got off it, I got all this acne, and I ran to the dermatologist and he fixed it. And I was going to do exactly that, but I've been unemployed. I've lost so much, like even my braces, the wiring that was put underneath my teeth to keep them in place, it snapped during this time. I would have run to the orthodontist to make sure my teeth don't shift out of place, but they've shifted. Like, the bottom teeth, they shifted in a way that it doesn't show that much, but I see the difference because I know what they used to look like. I would have just quickly fixed problems that I had, and I haven't been able to do that. So when I broke out into acne, I was like, God, they're taking that too. They're gonna take away my clear skin. Who's gonna love me with a whole bunch of acne? I still have to look beautiful for my husband. I still have to be a yummy mummy, if you know what I mean, like a beautiful mom. I still have to live. I can't, they're taking everything from me. They've taken away my career, and they're just watching me languish, and they don't care. They are watching me every day as they wake up and go to work and school respectively. Just sit every single day like the biggest freaking brain in the family. Literally, I am the smartest person here. They are watching all of that intelligence just fly out the room. And they are acting as if though I have no desire to study. They're acting like I have no desire to work. They're acting like I have no desire to make anything meaningful out of my life. And they know it's a lie. They're so enamored with sorcery. They're so invested in destroying people's lives that they are prepared to let the most gifted people, the most gifted person they know, literally just die looking like she was a loser that didn't want to work. And they will take that to the grave, acting as if though I lost my mind one day and ruined my future. They will go old and die having literally proliferated a lie about me, and they know it's a lie. They know it's a lie. That's just the thing. The sadism is out of this world. I mean, the wickedness is unconscionable. It's unimaginable. They're so evil. They will have watched me lose everything knowing what they did. I don't know how anyone can rely on witchcraft and not be scared. I don't get it, because it does this to people's lives. How the heck is no one scared after they do this to a person and it works, like after you go and you grab a thriving soul and you just lay them waste and they struggle to come up for air, they can't even breathe. I do not know how under heaven they're not scared after that. Like, how do you not freak out? It's like committing murder. Literally, like criminals that commit actual crimes have got one up on witches because at least after committing the crimes they commit, they freak out. They freak out enough to try and bury the body. They freak out enough to be scared of the police. Whenever a marked police van or police car drives by, they hide. They live in the shadows. They struggle. They feel like fugitives. They're guilty. They're jumpy. Like they're jumpy because they've committed murder. There is a body rotting in the ground somewhere that they buried, that they hid in the woods, that if it all gets discovered, they are facing either the death penalty or life in prison. Like real life criminals are often antsy around authority figures. And I don't understand how witches can carry on living their lives, going into their offices, walking in and out, 9 to 5s. Literally greeting people, hi, how you doing? Chest bumping with people, fist bumping with people, congratulating people on a good job done. They carry on as normal. Like the people who did this to me, some of them were my colleagues at MTN. They made me fall with a thud even though I was entirely innocent. And they then went into the office the next day and were like, hey, how you doing? Now I'm good. I've had a great weekend. How in the world, after observing a woman literally fall and land with a thud, breaking all of her teeth and bones, and you are the one that pushed her off an edge, do you go into the office the next day and greet your other colleagues like ain't jack ever happened? Like they destroyed my career and they watched me fall. They watched me get fired without cause and they just went on to the next one and the next one and the next one. They literally carried on as normal like nothing happened. That's what witches do. How in the world are they not scared of authority figures? Like, why are they not jumpy? Every time they hear a police siren, why do they not, like, get out of their bed? Why do they not get nightmares about what they've done? They have no conscience at all. They get that seared. They get that seared. They literally carry on about their business normally. They go on to fall pregnant and have babies, the babies of which they transfer their demons to and give them the generational curses of witchcraft. And they don't even realize that they've gone on to curse babies by simply being witches in and of themselves. They do stuff like that. And they move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. My tears, my languishing. You see the way I'm crying right now? I'm going to upload this stuff on YouTube. Some of them are going to watch it, and then they're just going to carry on. Just going to move on as normal, as usual. Pity me, perhaps, but anticipate they've gotten away with murder. Literally, being able to commit some of the most heinous crimes and get away with it because of the alleged anonymity of witchcraft. I don't know why they're not scared. I don't know why they imagine they can play with demons. I don't know why they imagine they can go and dabble with the Ouija board or play Dungeons and Dragons and not expect a haunting in their homes. I do not know why they're not scared that somebody is going to eventually find the dead body that they have buried and then come for them. I don't know why witches are not antsy like fugitives from crime. I don't know. I have watched these people roam around me for 8 years, going in and out of the office, going in and out of the school campus, come back home and be like, hi. Literally, you spit on the body of the person you have killed, and because of the alleged anonymity of witchcraft, because of the fact that apparently, allegedly, nobody knows, nobody will ever find out that it was you that made Karabo fall like a thud from a dizzy height, an intelligent, gifted, academic woman that you went and you wrenched out of university, wrenched out of corporate South Africa, wrenched out of a life at all, wrenched literally her eggs from out of her freaking womb, took away her husband, her future, her homes, and then carried on about dilly-dallying, jumping up and down in these streets like a freaking kangaroo, and then acted like you did nothing wrong. The Bible says of the immoral woman that she eats honey and then looks at you and says, what have I done? Literally, her lips are dripping honey. She's the one that has had her fingers in the cookie jar, and then she's like, no, I didn't do it. They keep a straight face. They carry about their business like they haven't done anything, and I have no clue under heaven why they're not scared, except I do know. It's called being reprobate. It's called being handed over to such a wicked state that the Lord has banked wrath against them for the final judgment. He deliberately does not want them to come around because they have seared their consciences and have no desire to turn 180 degrees again back to the Lord. They have no interest in being recovered to sanity because they desire to get away with it. And that's why they're not jumpy, they're not antsy. They're seared in their conscience. They're like a criminal who has been committing crimes for so long, has been killing people for so long, that it no longer grates them. They no longer feel guilty about the cadaver on the floor that they have brought to that position. When a person has killed so many people that they can go on right ahead to even eat breakfast in front of a dead body and not want to vomit. Like that's what the Lord does with people who commit crimes perpetually over and over and over again and they don't repent. He makes them unable to feel the gravity of what they have done. So that's what these people are doing. They just walk around bouncing on these streets like they're freaking bunny rabbits in the presence of the stench of the person they have killed. Literally, the stench of my corpse, the rigor mortis, the setting in of all different kinds of maggots in the body that is on the ground laying there like I'm being eaten by vultures. I'm being eaten by scavengers. I'm dead on the side of the street and they are just walking like it's normal. I mean, carcasses of dogs and cats sometimes get ignored on the side of the street after they've been knocked over by cars. But try and ignore a human body and watch people look at you like you're freaking weird. And that is what is going on in my life. They're ignoring a dead body on the side of the street. A human body. When is the only time in history when a human body is being ignored on the side of the street? It's when there is so much anarchy and calamity in the land. Look at what's going on right now in the Ukraine. That they cannot collect these bodies and put them in a mortuary responsibly, or at least on time. In a war zone, that is where you see bodies scattered about on the street with nobody coming to collect them. South Africa is a freaking war zone of that nature. It's like the Ukraine, where some megalomaniac rocked up and decided to declare war on a sovereign nation. And so bodies are scattered, and thanks to the war, ain't no coroners coming to collect the bodies. And so they walk around, going in and out of their offices, growing up and up the corporate ladder, doing everything they need to do, buying their new cars, buying their new homes, raising children, sending them to private schools. When Garabo can't even have her first freaking child, let alone have that child in a private hospital, let alone take that kid to a private school. When I had the kind of future where my kids would have only had private services because I was doing well in life. Now, the mother of kids that were going to be born in a private hospital and be taken to private schools is basically facing dying with nothing to her name because these freaking war declaring reprobate souls have seen it fit to lay me waste on the side of the street and trust nobody is going to come and collect my body because there are no coroners in a war. Why would the Lord let that happen to his child? Why would Christ let that slide? I've been asking that question. Why does it appear as if though my prayers have not been answered? Why have the wicked thrived so much? Why have they prospered? Why have they gotten fat, spread themselves thinly across this world, been embraced, hugged, high-fived, listened to even though they speak crap? Why them? Why them and not me? Why have I cleaned my hands and kept myself pure? Because it turns out that it does not help to be righteous. Why has the Lord allowed this? You're reprobate, don't you see? You've been handed over. You are supposed to die a second death. You are supposed to be told to depart from Christ, worker of iniquity, for I never knew you. You are supposed to ignore the person on the side of the street that is bleeding out, even though a good Samaritan eventually rocks up. You are supposed to be the person that does not give Christ bread when he's hungry. You are supposed to be the person that does not visit Christ in prison and that does not visit Christ in hospital when he is sick. You are supposed to be the person that doesn't give a glass of water to drink to the Lord when he is thirsty. That the day might arrive when he would say to you, when I was hungry, you didn't give me food. When I was naked, you didn't give me clothes. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me drink. When I was sick and in prison, you didn't visit me. So depart from me, worker of iniquity, I never knew you. You are reprobate. But in the run-up to, I'm trying to make sense of all of this, right? And then I realized, just like Asaph in Psalm 73, I keep repeating myself, that the wicked are set in slippery paths, but never mind the wicked, what about us? What happens during the time when a Christian is really going through it and they can't come up for air, they can't breathe? They've been left for dead by a whole bunch of unfeeling, unemotional, insensitive randoms. How am I supposed to make sense of this? How am I supposed to make sense of why the Lord has allowed people to come into my life to just cut me into a million pieces even though I'm already freaking severed? I am already cut. I've already got gashes on my face and I got gashed again. Why? It is because of what happened on my face with my pimples. So let's get back to the story of my pimples. During that time, when I was breaking out, I was getting this meager little 600 rands from Barbara. And I was like, my skin is a mess. So I went on the internet, mainly YouTube videos, and I studied how to fix my skin. What's wrong with my face? What's going on? Like, how in the world am I breaking out? How am I getting adult acne? Like, what's this? And over a couple of weeks, I was given DIY methods to correct skin, DIY this, DIY that, put this potato, put this onion, put this. I learned properties of fruits and vegetables and what they do. And somebody that never used to like eating healthy started eating healthy. I did not like fruit, believe it or not, eh? Like, I would always pass it up. Like, there are people who are enamored with fruit, but I was like, I'd rather have chocolate. I mean, I even have blogs that I've done in the past where I boasted. I literally gloated about the fact that I would much rather have a chocolate than an apple. I would much rather have 10 like teaspoons of sugar in my coffee and in my tea than find a sugar alternative so I can be healthy. I would rather like splatter, like sprinkle a whole bunch, like slather salt on my food so I can get that flavor in, than have a bland meal that has little salt. I love my yogurt, I love my cheese, I love my dairy products. I'm just gonna go and guzzle. And I continued in that way until the Lord taught me about my body. I found out about allergies that I have in this season. I found out what I can take and what I can't take. I basically became low-key a nutritionist. I became low-key a little dermatologist or an esthetician. I low-key became my own doctor. I self-diagnosed, and as a result of that self-diagnosis, my skin has come a long way. I don't know if you've seen, there's a video that I did just these past days where I had this ridiculous acne around my chin. Look at me now. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting this. But do you know why I'm where I'm at right now? Because I learned my body. I got educated. I got trained. I realized that they might have taken away my university education, but they didn't take away my brain, my mind, my aptitude for learning. So I gained more skills in this season than I ever would have in a university, because I would have been made to choose electives at university that aren't broad. I was studying a commercial degree. I wasn't in the sciences. I wasn't in the physiological sciences, so I wouldn't have learned anything about nutrition, about biology, about all of that. But I am now currently bordering on being a jack of all trades and master of all because of what people did to me. I never would have gone to a doctor and asked him, doctor, what are my allergies? Because I'm breaking out into acne. I don't get what's going on. Back in the day, I just went to a dermatologist when all my skin broke out, and I was like, fix it, dude. And the dude gave me Roaccutane, and it took out all of the oil sebum production in my body. And in taking it out, just dealt with the problem using a pill that, worked really miraculously, but I never got to know what's going on with my body. And the thing about using pills that work miraculously for your body is that when your body starts to do things that your body does over time, that pill starts to become not sufficient to help you to get what you need. So the dermatologist, if at all I had gone to him, if I was employed, what would have happened there is that I would have still had issues with my health that I would have just ignored, because there's a pill that's dealing with, it's like putting a band-aid on cancer or spraying cologne on a corpse. It wouldn't have dealt with the root issues. So I was forced, because I didn't have money to go see a dermatologist, to deal with the root cause of why I'm even getting acne. So I found out that I've got a very slight yeast allergy. I found out that I need to be very careful with things like bread, because that causes, so historically, I'm sorry if you're a man watching this, my ministry is for women, so if you're here, really, you must close your ears in certain parts, because you're kind of like illegal all up in my ministry anyway. Historically, ever since I was a teenager, ever since I was a bleeding teenager, basically as soon as I got on my period, as soon as I had those kinds of issues as a female, I always had a problem with vaginal, like thrush, right? It's not an STD. It is a yeast overdrive, and it is caused by yeast, anything that has yeast in it. So bread, foods that can cause a yeast production in your body, like sugar, whatever, like lots and lots of pasta type thing can cause an overdrive of yeast in the body. I've always loved bread because my mother was a big bread person, so she used to buy a whole bunch of it, so I used to eat a whole bunch of it in the house. And just before my period, I would always get, what do you call this, like a little bit of an itchy situation. So if you've had vaginal thrush, you will know. It itches like no man's business. You get very agitated, blah, 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 all that jazz. And I had that iteratively a couple of times a year, right? And I was just so disturbed by it. I had been to gynecologists even as a teenager and been like, what is this thing? Like, I don't understand. It's giving me problems. And one gynae told me, you've got thrush. So I have this adoration for cranberries. You guys know that, right? So let me just give you a little bit of a backstory on my love for cranberries. I love cranberries because I was advised by a gynecologist to eat a whole bunch of them or drink cranberry juice, because it'll help me with my yeast overdrive and with my reproductive health, like my vaginal health, vaginal hygiene and all that jazz, because there is something in cranberries that help with urinary tract infections and also to regulate the like microbiome or whatever inside that particular region of the body. So I tried them. Cranberries were a little bit expensive, the actual fruit, so I got the pills and they worked like a charm. So ever since then, I've just been this like pro cranberry chick. Like I'm always just telling women, get yourself some cranberries and you're good. So that's why I have this like fascination with cranberry juice, cranberry fruit, cranberry dried cranberries, or even like the full whole undried fruit. I'm just like, cranberries here from here to Timbuktu, plus they taste really great. So that's why I'm Cranberry K, because cranberries helped me. But you see, that was just a small little pin drop in the ocean of a myriad of things I would later come to discover about holistic medicine, or the usage of food as medicine, right? The first hint I got was when I was a teenager and my gynae was like, try cranberries, and I did. And they subdued my issues with getting vaginal thrush every so often. I didn't want to have to keep on popping some pill to reduce the yeast, overall yeast in my body. I didn't want to have to continue to pop pills, right? So, or even like put anything up my like thingy-my-bobby, you know, just to make sure that I don't have a problem out there. Whenever I would get flus and whatnot, and then have to take antibiotics, the problem got real bad. And I was explained to by the doctor that happens because fungi, like an excess of it in the body, which is the yeast. Yeast causes a fungal overdrive in the body, and antibiotics, what they do is kill bacteria, right? They kill bacteria, and in killing bacteria in the body, kill both good bacteria and bad bacteria. And good bacteria is what fights fungi in the body. It's what fights a yeast overdrive in the body. So when you're on antibiotics, it kills all of your bacteria in the body, making sure then that the fungus overdrive or the yeast overdrive in your body hits a ceiling. And so women who are on antibiotics find that they sometimes get a really bad case of thrush, or like vaginal thrush, because of that. And so oftentimes what a doctor will prescribe to you, if at all you struggle with vaginal thrush, when you get put on antibiotics for whatever reason it is that you're going to be on antibiotics, is that they also tend to prescribe an antifungal. An antifungal is antifungal because the properties of the pill or the medication in and of itself is rich in good bacteria. So basically probiotics or something of the tanamount. That's what antifungal medication does. So they will give you an antifungal and an antibacterial, and the two of them will work to deal with whatever it is that the antibacterial is supposed to do. So cure your pneumonia, and then the antifungal will keep the fungal overdrive at bay. There are a myriad of things that show or pop up on your face or on your body, as a result of a fungal overdrive. Things like what do you call this? Malassezia folliculitis, fungal acne that you get on the face, these like random spots, is one of them. Vaginal overdrive, thrush is one of them. I believe athlete's foot. Like there are so many things that are as a result of an overdrive of fungi. You can get these like random patches across your body. So a myriad of things can be ramifications of taking antibiotics on people's bodies. With me in particular, I got a thrush overdrive, and with me in particular, only recently, I got these like spots on my face, more acne. So I got what do you call this? Not only regular P. acnes bacteria, but I also got fungal acne, like literally a combination of both things on my face, breaking out into that, like ever so recently, the past like year, 2 years, that became a problem of mine. And I was like, I'm basically being made to look ugly. Like I'm literally losing my beauty, and I cannot afford to lose my beauty because that's the only thing I have that I'm holding on to right now to handle my enemies, the fact that God has preserved me. They have watched me fall with a thud on the ground, lose my teeth and everything, and the only thing that I have right now is the fact that even though you've taken away all my 30s, God has preserved me literally in my 20s. He has kept me looking exactly the way that I looked. If anything, I look better than I did in my 20s. I've lost weight, I've gained muscle, I've done all this. So this season of investigating or studying online what in the world is wrong with me caused then me to learn of things, basically self-diagnose myself of issues that I never would have even inquired at the doctor because I was busy spraying cologne on a corpse and putting a band-aid on cancer. I was dealing with like the outward ramification of certain things that were happening in my body, but I was not dealing with the root cause. So the dermatologist would have just like thrown me on a very hard knock version of vitamin A, Roaccutane or Oratane, and it would have cleared my skin, and it would have probably been at bay for 5-10 years, and then I would have had likely another breakout again, which I would then return to him, and he would put me back on like literally I would have had to just be on and off this stuff after a couple of years. But it would not have dealt with what was going on, why I was even having those challenges in the first place. right? So I got to find out that upon asking, why would I get this kind of acne on my face? Why do I have this? Why that? And then people started giving reasons and explanations. Maybe it's because you're allergic to dairy. Maybe it's because you are allergic to yeast or bread. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's that. So basically, through a process of elimination, I eventually came to the conclusion, this is a 2-year process, so it took that long for me to eventually reach the conviction that what is this? I've always known that I've got a low-key lactose intolerance, but it's not too bad. But that the real deep issue or problem is actually cheese. I first cut out all dairy. I literally try to cut out all dairy, but I'm poor, I'm broke, right? So I need to eat, and I have to eat whatever is available here. So in order to have my cereal, I could either have it with water or milk. So I continued to put a little bit of milk in my food and looked around at my skin, and my skin was looking whatever, right? Eggs, I had dished eggs as well because they were also dairy. I dished all dairy, but then I slowly brought it back in again because of the fact that I'm restricted. I would end up going hungry. I would end up eating just plain whatever, right? Type thing. I would end up eating just, I was also told that be careful of carbs, like starches, because then they cause an overdrive of this. And I was like, I will get skinny. I come from being really emaciated because I've been really abused in the season. I come from being super skinny to a point of looking anorexic, all right? I don't want to go back there. So because I told myself that I don't want to go back to looking anorexic, I was like, if I cut out certain foods, I'm gonna go skinny again, and I'm literally trying to gain a healthy weight so I don't look ridiculous, type thing. So I had to reincorporate carbs back into my diet, like rice that I eat with my dinner. Had to reincorporate. So I realized that I, for the life of me, cannot follow the kind of diet that I want to follow because of my restrictions. I don't have money. So then I started investigating what needs to happen. I was told by myriads of doctors, dermatologists, estheticians, random Janes and Joes on YouTube who have something of a nut or a nugget to share. I learned that really the biggest and baddest way to deal with perpetual persistent acne is to reduce overall inflammation in the body. And so I was like, okay, all right, cool. So how do I do that? And that's when I started getting all of this myriad of advice about similar things, and so I just kind of put them together in a bunch, like chia seeds, fenugreek, moringa, leaf powder. My lips are getting dry, guys. I'll be back just now. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, so basically these superfoods, these are my lip glosses, so I've brought them here. So basically these superfoods that in combination with one another really just kind of jam-pack health for you. There's this one particular lady, a white lady on YouTube that I follow. I forgot what her channel is called, but she had a child, right, that was in and out of hospital for some genetic disorder, right, some issue, and they kept on putting this kid on meds in order to regulate it and keep it at bay. And in and of herself, she ended up going into hospital for some complication related to high blood pressure. And ever since that particular hospitalization for her, and also due to what in the world happened, no, actually, it was her own hospitalization that motivated her to change her diet. She was given high blood pressure medication and all that stuff, but then the doctor also advised them that lifestyle, changing your lifestyle could actually go a massive mega way. So she then started looking at her diet, studying just like I studied, and then investigating what in the world she could do. She then brought in superfoods, tried to reduce overall inflammation in her body, and her health improved. Her blood pressure was regulated, and because she was a mom and a wife, she then, of course, upon changing her own diet, automatically changed the diet of the family because she was, cooking for them. So she basically forced her diet on them by simply cooking differently, and she noticed that her kid was getting less sick, her kid was getting less hospitalized, her kid was thriving and energetic, could now participate in sports, and in and of herself her blood pressure came down. And I mean, I bet the husband was happy too, but her descriptions basically as to what helped was her child's situation and hers. That was what made her realize that literally food is medicine. And she then, in explaining her story, she then explained what it is that she incorporated into her diet. And I noticed that her transference over from certain ways of eating to certain new ways of eating was actually not even that bad, healthy, and it involved as well dairy, which I struggle with, to let go of, if you know what I mean. Just insofar as she was incorporating certain whole foods, seeds, nuts, basically the rainbow, incorporating certain rainbow foods into her diet, she was able to overall circumvent whatever might be disease causing in the body, or disease exacerbating if you already have diseases, like what was going on with the child. And this woman's channel has been like a massive inspiration to me. I love watching her stuff, even though sometimes it breaks my heart because I can't get the ingredients. She has recipes that she does and whatnot. She's just really great, right? She's very, very inspirational. After like subscribing to her and following her, I then of course got recommended to many other channels of this nature. And so I fell in love with DIY home care, DIY like holistic food eating patterns. I started to become low-key obsessed with vegan diets, even though I'm not a vegan and I'm not about to become one. I love my chicken. I'm not about to walk away from fish. So, but I do love how vegans are innovative in light of finding plant-based alternatives. Plus the fats in plants are far better than the fats that you find in meats. Right, in animals. And so I really love vegan channels. I love vegan recipes, even though in and of myself I'm not vegan. I'm not about to be that. So I learned how to make like vegan milk, like, you know how I have a mild low-key like a lactose intolerance. I learned how to make my own oat milk. I learned how to make my own you know, nut milks using various types of nuts. I learned how to make like even hemp milk, like all, like it was just like, whoa, there was a season when I was making these milks, but then they took away the blender and I couldn't carry on because, you know, I'm living in a strange environment type thing. But I learned a lot of things in this season. And so I reduced my overall intake of dairy, which is the reason why I purchased almond milk, even though I would much rather make my own almond milk. I no longer have a blender, however, to do that. And almond milk that is bought from the store is not real almond milk. It's like 2% almonds or 3% or whatever. It's just like a big fat chunky facade. But I can make it on my own at home, right? If at all I was able to do such things. So that's why I have developed a little bit of an obsession with starting a food channel, because I've always wanted to start a pastry channel because I can bake like no man's business. But now I want a generalistic food channel where I can also do recipes, teach people how to cook ABCD. These are my dreams, but in order for me to start a food channel, I need my own kitchen, and I need to be able to purchase ingredients. I need to have good enough lighting in order to get caught, you know what I mean, by those, like, you know, people to, like, you know, clickbait, basically. I need all of that jazz. So basically the Lord trained me a new skill in order to establish a new future for me, because people kick me out of corporate. People made sure that I can no longer walk the aisles of some random freaking building there chilling on 14th Avenue. People made sure I can no longer swing around on one of those oscillating chairs in the office as soon as I arrive at work in the morning. They made sure that I no longer can, like, frequent the aisles of corporate. So they have made me a home worker, an entrepreneur, if you want to call it that. I have intentions of gaining an ability to make money and all that jazz, but I realize that I'll never go back to corporate unless I start my own business and have my own premises, and so it'll be a sort of a corporate. I am definitely never going back to that environment where you clock in with an access card and be like, hi guys, how are you doing this morning? How was your weekend? Like, I'm not going back there, because Africa made sure I can't, and there's no other country that's going to take me with this big fat chunky gap in my CV to work in their corporates. They're going to be like, if South Africa spat you out, I mean, what good are you to us, right? So corporate is over for me. My career is not over, but it is in corporate. So I had to basically find a career, and I would never have found this particular desire for a career if I did not suddenly break out into acne without being able to see a dermatologist. I would not have been made to study skin. I would not have been made to study the body. I would not have been made to study food as medicine. I would not have been made to do any of that stuff if I did not have a problem. Need breeds invention. Need breeds innovation. I would never have discovered all of these things if people had not put me in a position to basically lose the last thing that I have holding on to. So I went into these YouTube channels, learned about reduction of inflammation in the body, found out about the powers of turmeric, found out how to even handle turmeric, found out how to, you know, what is this use? I'm gonna explain to you now when I make my drinks how to use turmeric, how to put it, how to eat it, how to consume it, the nutritional profile of such things. I learned all of that. And then I was like, I keep getting $600 a month. I don't know what to do with myself. It's not enough money to do anything that actually need to be done. I need to service my car. I need like big things. Like, I can't. But so what can you do, Karabo? What can you do? You can't continue every single month when you get this meager $600 to buy little like flat back earrings at Lovisa. Like, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to edify you. You're just going to have these flat backs chilling, blinging in your ear, and then that's it. And you're just going to next month buy this, that, wada. At that stage, I also was sick and tired of my afro growing very slowly. Like, I had this ravenous, beautiful mane of an afro back in the day that I had grown over time because I could afford to get it taken care of by my stylist. The lady who used to do my hair knew how to handle my hair. And then I lost all that, right? And plus she was a witch, so we had to like part ways because I was sick and tired. I was annoyed by the fact that she tried to gain more business out of me using sorcery. So I just like walked away from all of that. And even if I wanted to go back, I couldn't because I had no money to pay a stylist to do my hair, to cornrow or whatever. But I didn't have the skills in and of myself to plait. I didn't have the skills in and of myself to do anything. So my afro, I have had such a bad season with my hair, right? In that I lost it the first time because I couldn't take care of it. It's coiled, it's 4C. You guys know how this African hair can be, right? So it literally all fell off, like all of it, after I lost my job because I did not know how to take care of my hair. So I lost a really gorgeous head of hair, and I've been mourning it ever since. And in the season, I tried to grow that head of hair of mine, and I struggled because the thing about 4C hair is that if you don't put it behind a protective style, if you don't treat it a particular way, if you don't handle it with care like a fragile ornament, it's gonna break. It's gonna break and it's gonna fall off because it's coiled, it's tendrilled. And with that, you know, bow by our hair makes sure that the only way that we can actually grow it to a feasible like length, if you want to be getting to like, you know, a tailbone length or your back, like lower back, if whatever it is that are your goals in terms of your fro, you have got to basically keep it covered and it needs some other protective style. And I couldn't do hair. I couldn't do hair. I couldn't do hair. Plus, I didn't have the nourishing, the moisture, whatever it is that was needed in order to make sure that hair grows well. And so it was on and off. I kept on cutting it, growing it. I got frustrated with it, and then it grew so slowly, so slowly, so slowly. And I mean, I have got such well-growing hair and such fast-growing hair that I couldn't understand why I was able to grow the afro that I grew before, and now it's not growing so well. And I realized that it's because of the way that I was handling it, the way that I was combing it, the way that it's the way that I was handling it, it's the way that I was combing it. Yeah, so basically the high manipulation of my hair caused it to break, and so it appeared to be growing slowly, except it was growing the way that it has always been growing. It's just that I haven't been retaining length, stuff like that. These are things that I was met with great frustration pertaining in the season, and I learned because of frustration, need breeds innovation. So the needs that I had made me then go on right ahead to find out on the internet what in the world is up, you know what I mean, with me, what is the general big idea, etc. And I learned not just about my body and my face and my skin, but about hair. I taught myself by watching tutorials on YouTube how to cornrow, how to install braids, how to install crochet hair. Like literally this hair that I put on my head right now is on my head because I done taught myself how to cornrow and install a crochet hairstyle. I recently bought hair extensions that have got like a pink tip at the bottom. I intend to install them as braids, right? I never used to know how to do braids. I started out with the, what do you call this? The rubber band method, where you take an individual piece of hair and you put a rubber band around it, and then you use a crochet hook to put your hair in, and then you pat it down. And now I can freehand, like literally I got that grip game down. I can freehand install a braid and then like come all the way down like that. Like I learned all of that because of frustration. Like need bred innovation, it bred invention. So basically I have grown in skill. If you go and you check out the Bible in the parable of the talents, you will learn that if you sow to your talents and you make them grow, you invest, you make more talents with your talents, the Lord will give you more. And the Lord has given me more talents. He's made me somewhat of an esthetician or a beautician or a dermatologist. I've got some knowledge about skin, and he's also given me knowledge about hair. Like I can do hair now. Like it's literally out of this world how that is a fact of my life. I know how to flat twist, I know how to cornrow, I know the inverse method of cornrowing alongside the regular good old-fashioned cornrow. I can braid, I can crochet, if I can install weaves, wigs, like I can do all that. Right? And if I had mannequins, like those head mannequins alongside the right sewing needles, I would likely be even able to make my own wigs from scratch, because I've watched so many tutorials on the internet that I've gotten that down. All that came as a result of what do you call this? Persecution. It came about as a result of lack, want, inability to go and see a stylist at the salon. And so therefore I was like, I gotta do my own hair then, I guess, right? Inability to go and see a dermatologist. So I was like, I guess I gotta fix my own skin. Inability to get my body fit. And so I was like, I gotta figure out a way to work out. I gotta figure out a way to do A, B, C, D, etc. Now, in terms even of my muscle development, like my body's development, right? It's been gradual, it's been steady, it's been kind of slow. I've been working out for a minute now. I started out kind of, you know, doing just half an hour, like here and there a day. And then I just like started going like hard, not full in with like them squats and whatnot for like over an hour and a half too. But despite working out as much as I do, my muscle development was coming about so gradually. It was only when I started to incorporate health alongside fitness that I started to see massive improvements, like gargantuan, mammoth improvements in muscle development. Literally, I took about 2 to 3 years to get to a certain level in terms of my body's development. And then when I changed my diet, I saw massive differences in just 2 months. These are the things that I even captured them in my prior work before rocking up to YouTube. I spoke about that and I gave counsel, but that's old work that I might share the little clips of right now. But right now I'm trying to, you know, kind of summarize all that in this particular video, and I hope you are not getting bored just yet. Anyway, cool, right? So the counsel then pertaining eating habits, I was like, okay, cool, I'll take it, right? So I used that 600 rands and I went to Impala Fruit and Veg, I went to Dis-Chem, I went to Food Lovers Market. I went to just basically these whole products, sorry, whole food selling joints that sell like herbs and spices and fruits and vegetables and juices. I basically visited such stores. Instead of going to the mall to Lovisa to buy some earrings, I went to Impala, fruit and veg, and I just like perused, walked up and down these aisles, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's not even that expensive. That's just the thing. Like, I learned that for instance, there was this big fat chunky can. It was very expensive. Yeah, collagen. I thought about, but in fact, there was a time when I'm bored with that $600, a tin of collagen. I thought I could spread it out over the months, but I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is expensive. It's ridiculous. So I went on the internet and I found out that instead of buying collagen, because it can be expensive every single month, there is a better way to do it, a healthier way to do it. Plus, vegans cannot take collagen boosters because collagen is made from like animal like skin and flesh and whatnot, right? Because collagen is in the skin, and so therefore to extract it, you need to extract it out of skin, meaning that it's extracted out of the skin of animals, meaning that vegans cannot, for the life of them, take collagen supplements. So what do you do then if you're a vegan? I'm not a vegan, but I am a person that ought be on vegan type vibe diets. Like, it's much cheaper to be a vegan than it is to be a meat eater or whatever. So I was like, okay, so if I were to reduce inflammation as a vegan, what do I do? So instead of buying a tin of collagen, which cost me $350, and that was the cheapest one. There are others that go all the way up to like 1,000 rands. I was like, my goodness. And they recommended, if at all you're going to see any results, that you take heaps of a scoop, like every single day, like 5 of these heaps. And I'm like, this thing is going to get finished in like 3 weeks to a month. So every month I must go and invest in a like 500 rand can, when I only get 600 rands a month. Like, I'm dealing with a miser. Like, no, can't deal, right? So the Lord led me then to find out about an alternative to taking collagen supplements. Plus, collagen in and of itself, there is no medical like data collected sufficiently enough, even with peer reviews over a long enough amount of time, to validate through medical journals that it actually does work. So it's all just speculation. Those people who sit on the rooftops and like ululate praises to it, it's their own experiences. It hasn't actually been proven by doctors, and that's also another thing that makes me feel some kind of way. I am an academic, and I tend to really to appreciate scholastic reviews, and collagen, there aren't enough of them on it. So, but there are a lot of scholastic reviews on the nutritional benefits of certain foods, right? So one particular Indian doctor guy, lifestyle medicine, I follow him as well. Please bring him to me. I want to recommend these people because they're so excellent. Oh, I forgot his name. Anyway, he's another guy that I subscribe to. Perhaps at the end of this video, I might just link these people's channels so you can follow them yourself. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Lord, please remind me to do that. Yeah, I will put like at the end of my videos their channels, however many of them there are. Like the lady with the kid and the dude, lifestyle medicine. Hi, it's Dr. What's his name? Anyway, Dand, Sunil Dand. Yes, Sunil Dand. That's his name. I'll also put his channel at the end of this. There's also this one dude from India who is not a doctor but just like a lifestyle guru. I'll like put him in there, blah blah blah, etc. Right? That you might go to their channels and check their stuff out. They basically help you get your life in a bunch on a like ridiculous budget. I was on a 600 rands budget, and I got such gargantuan benefits as a result. Anyway, whatever. So I realized they trained me, these doctors and these estheticians and these dermatologists and these like all different kinds of things that they were, alongside regular Janes and Joes on the street, like people that aren't necessarily trained in these fields, but they've studied enough, or they've researched enough on the internet. I take a combination of all of that because, it's a nice little healthy balance of peer-reviewed stuff alongside like witness testimony of people. Like, take it all together and you've got, sound enough advice. Anyway, cool. Right, I like to compare the guys on this side that haven't gone to school to Wikipedia. When I was at Vids, they used to tell us that Wikipedia is not a source. But yes, Wikipedia is not a source, but every so often there's information in there that's valuable. But you must be careful not to run with Wikipedia only, but run with like articles that the university has recommended. So I use professionals mixed with Wikipedia people. Okay, cool. Righto, their advice was to, since collagen has not been peer reviewed, and since I was broke as well and I couldn't continue to buy it, I was told that you can get yourself boosted with collagen boosters. In other words, eat in a way that's going to boost collagen. I know that collagen starts to reduce its production of collagen naturally in the skin starts to decline around the late 20s of a person. and it declines over time, like, you know, and you produce less and less of it, and you become less and less elastic. So if you want to continue to be bouncy, stay healthy, stay all that jazz, you kind of have to supplement it. And so you can supplement it with collagen supplements that they make with them peptides, or you can eat in a way that your collagen is boosted. And there was this one woman who actually did an experiment of that nature where she was on collagen supplements for a year, and they really improved her life and her skin and even reduced acne. But then she was like, I'm moving over to collagen boosters, and she again did an experiment over a year, and the results were exactly similar, in that after getting off the collagen, there was a little bit of a retraction and a decline. Her skin started to get dull again, but then she had changed her diet, and she recovered, like and she came back up again. And I was like, nice experiment. I'm glad that you literally made yourself a guinea pig for 2 years for our sake and our benefit, right? Okay, cool. So that was the situation. So then I learned that there are certain foods that are collagen boosters, and they are cheaper than collagen, and a little goes a long way. Well, actually, they didn't say a little goes a long way. I found out that a little goes a long way because I could not spend so much money on replacing them or replenishing them every 2 weeks. I couldn't buy more grams than 250 for chia seeds. I couldn't buy more grams than 100 grams for moringa. I could only get so much, right? So I was like, okay, so I can't use a big fat chunky heaped spoon of moringa because I'm broke. So I'm gonna use a little dab at a time. I'm gonna see how it works out for me, right? So based on the foods they recommended, there are so many that I still haven't gotten because some are more on the expensive end and I can't afford them, like cacao powder, matcha, you know, I can't afford that. It's ridiculous. It's like a potent version of green tea, so I just buy green tea then, as opposed to matcha. Like I took all this advice. There's also another channel for skin that has gone really a long way. It's a lifestyle skin care channel where they do recommend some very ridiculously expensive products that I can't afford, but they also recommend food. So I love watching beauty within. These two Asian chicks, gorgeous, you're gonna love them. I think they're staying in Australia or whatever. I will also try and link Beauty Within at the end of this, right? And they gave me all myriads and kinds of advice as to what to do with skin, what is likely the issue with you, why are you struggling, and they're the ones that are pro matcha like no man's business, because it's like a powerhouse of an antioxidant, right? It is like the baddest tea in the game when it comes to antioxidants. Cool. So these are studies that I'm embarking on, both in light of my skin alongside my hair too. I also came to learn that, you know, there's a way to boost your hair growth. Eat for hair, but also, you know, hair topical applications. So I got into like Ayurvedic herbs and whatnot and blah blah blah, like fenugreek and henna and whatnot, but I couldn't of course purchase all of them, especially considering South Africa can be so ridiculously restrictive. You go to the store and you be looking for aloe vera leaf and they don't have it, but they have it in a gel and it's like violently expensive. So I've got aloe vera in the garden, amen, right? Or they will like, you will go to the Impala, or you will literally travel across Johannesburg just looking for like hemp, and not hemp but henna, and just not find it. So certain things I just have not been able to get around to doing fast enough, especially considering I don't have my own transportation and I cannot be driving far out using Barbara's car out of consideration really, because my driver's license is expired. So I had to kind of stay in my neighborhood. So I did Google online where I can find henna, because goodness, like I couldn't find it here in these stores, and I had to go to like some like green store in Sandton, and I'm like, yo, you know, I'm gonna get myself getting like moved to the ground by some popo because I don't have a driver's license. So I just kind of let it slide and try to see if I can't find anything else that is an alternative here. So basically, if I were to get money, get my car, get my driver's license and my license disc, I would be like a miracle walking in front of you, just gliding on water, never mind walking on it. And a lot of the miraculous results that I get, and if I tell you, the results have been miraculous. I mean, guys, look at me. I'm 37. I'm about to get to explaining what in the world is going on with this cheeky that's out here looking 26 at 37. Yes, we know black don't crack, but this year is more than black not cracking. It's bigger than that. Okay, anyway, cool. Fine, so that is what happened. I then started going to the Impala and the Food Lovers, wherever it is that I could go, this once a month time that I would go there, and I would purchase. Then I would look there for these things that I was advised about, having written them on paper and everything in the store, and I was pleasantly surprised as to how affordable they were. They were actually quite cheap. They are seeds, they're foods, and some of them are really, they're superfoods, and some of them are really cheap. What is expensive, however, are berries. Berries are like really, they come highly recommended because of the nutritional profile. Almost every berry is a superfruit, like almost every, like blueberries, strawberries, what is this, goji berries, cranberries, yeah, so that's where the cranberries come in. Like that's why the cranberries from back in the day recommended by the gynecologist, that's why they helped me. They were healing me from within, but at the time I was just like, you know, cranberry obsessed, without realizing that if I made it a lifestyle, I could literally defy time. I could walk on water. I could make like Michael Jackson and moonwalk when it comes to aging, literally look younger and younger as the years progress, just by changing my lifestyle. So berries are like a massive thing. And I mean, Blueberries are a biotin powerhouse. They are a hair powerhouse, and they're expensive though. Like berries are expensive, just generally. But they're the only thing that I can say in this season have been really, very taxing and challenging in terms of being able to afford. Plus, berries, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know, you can't exactly like keep them around for like a month. You can't buy strawberries at the beginning of a month and keep them like chilling for an entire month. You have to rely on changing them up every week, and so I did not have the ability to do that. I bought once a month and I had to wait a whole 30 days for the next batch to come in, unless they're dried. But that's the thing, berries, whether they're dried or whether they're still like, you know, the full whole fruit, they're so expensive. So I literally, that's been the one purchase that I've been desiring so strongly to get. I remember even going on my knees and asking God, Father, can I please have goji berries? And I was like, okay, if you're not gonna give me goji berries here on earth, when I get to my mansion in heaven, can there be like a whole jar of them, like of goji berries? Because I want goji berries, because they're like a super berry, and it was recommended, they came highly recommended to me by Beauty Within, that channel with the two Asian ladies. Goji berries, like I even love the way they sound, right? I was like, Father, can I have those goji berries? And I still am yet to taste. I've never tasted goji berries in my life, but I want them because they were recommended to me, right? Yeah, anyway, so they're very expensive. I saw them at the Impala dried goji berries, and they were like, for a packet was like $100. I mean, with 600 rands, I cannot be buying a packet perhaps that's like 250 grams that has goji berries in it for 100 rands. I can't. Another thing that I have been unable to incorporate into my diet that I've been wanting to desperately because of the myriad of nutrients that are in them are nuts, like almonds, pistachios, walnuts. I've been wanting to bring nuts into my life, but nuts are expensive. They will make you nuts, literally, right? You'll go crazy just looking at the price tags. So nuts are a problem. Haven't been able to get nuts, haven't been able to get berries, but if seeds are affordable. I have been able to like pack it up a storm with seeds, and seeds alone have mammothly transformed what's going on actually in these streets with me. Huge. This is now seeds without even incorporating berries, without incorporating nuts. There was a time when my mother was happy to accommodate purchasing berries, and my hair, yo guys, there were strawberries and blueberries in the fridge every single week, and my hair, it was last year December, November, December, now October, November, December, mekutangwa blueberry and strawberries. Every week's fruit supply had those fruit in them. She bought them from Woolies. Woolies has got very high quality food, right? It's like a upmarket like food store in this country, and she bought them from Woolies, and she stopped. I don't know why. You know, my mother, she's on and off like a Nancy. Hey man, I enjoyed that season as well. Like my plate, my breakfast plate looks so good in the mornings, and I ate them consistently for 3 months, and 3 months of daily consumption of just a handful, a small little handful of blueberries, strawberries, and a myriad of other fruit. Like I had mango, whatever she would buy, like apples, tangerines and whatnot. I would just put that in my plate as a fruit salad and eat it. And my hair, you guys, I've got like a footage. I've got the footage. Yo, December 2021, I had this like growth underneath my like extensions. I was like, and my jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor. It was a combination of things that I had done, and I was shocked. And I came to the conclusion that berries, maybe it's the blueberries, I don't know, because blueberries are come very highly recommended for hair growth. But I had a time when I literally grew 2 inches of hair in a month. Guys, I was like, what in the world is this? Oh, I was so happy, but I haven't quite gotten around to getting that kind of growth again. But that's because that food has been extracted out of my diet. Anyway, whatever, cool. So that's what happened. I bought seeds. Seeds were like my be all and end all. So the seeds that I purchased then were chia seeds, superfood dad, linseeds, super cheap, and it comes so super big. Like there's so much of it that comes around. Fenugreek seeds, basically what it is that I have going on all up in this joint. I bought seeds, and then I also bought spices, certain spices that went a long way for me. Green tea, the cheapest version I could find, and so far as it was 100% green tea. I tried to buy matcha at discount, but it was not real matcha. It was like 11% matcha and some other stuff, but I still bought it for like $100. I was like, I'm never doing this again. And it was only sachets, not even a whole big fat chunky powder batch. And I was like, hey, bacho, quite expensive. I bought sunflower seeds. I was into sesame seeds. I was into pumpkin seeds. I was into think about them seeds, just a myriad of seeds, and there would be different ones every single month that I would get, right? So biotin heavy, vitamin D heavy, like just a nutrient profile intensification. I'm looking up at my ingredients. I put them up there. That's where I bank them. That's where I store them. I bought these and they fitted within my 600 Rand budget. They did. I also would have to buy every so often like benzoyl peroxide, the cream, but it tended to last me like 3 months and then I would buy a new tube. So for the better part of the time, all of my money was dedicated towards these purchases and they were worth it. They were worth it. It was like I was going to the doctor's office to get collagen boost, not collagen. What do they call this thing? That they inject into your eyes to prevent wrinkles or something, or to flatten them out. I had these like deep deep is a very strong word, but I had laugh lines that were kind of getting more prominent than I would appreciate, and they started to flatten. They're not entirely gone. I mean, I've had my laugh lines I think since I was in my mid-20s, right? But they've gotten lighter, like much lighter anyway. And I believe it's what is that? Botox, thank you. It's like I was getting Botox injections every month in my eyes and here in my laugh lines. My skin also started to become a little bit plumper, like kind of fatter. Like it's like I was getting juiced. Like it's like somebody was putting juice in my face. I don't know, you get my point, right? And I was like, this stuff is working, but how long did it take? I bought these seeds and I made drinks with them. I started out having like 4 drinks a day, but I was like, hey, this is too much. And I reduced it a bit, especially considering I didn't have money, to just 2 times a day, right? So I drink one in the morning after waking up and it starts my digestive system rolling, and then I drink one in the evening. They keep me regular. In other words, they make me poop, okay? At like literally predictable times of the day when I wake up, sometimes after eating breakfast, and that's it, okay? They keep me regular. They also appear to be doing something to my skin. They make me glow. They also make my eye whites whiter, like the white area of your eyes. They made them whiter. They like, look, I've just gotten some kind of like random restoration that not only reduced the overall inflammation in my body, but it also happens to youth me up. So I was looking to reduce, what do you call this? I was looking to remove acne from my face. And I not only reduced the acne that was on my face, so what was popping out, it reduced, okay? I stopped like those hectic things that were here. I stopped getting them as hectically. I mean, it's not entirely gone, guys. I still have problems. Frankly, my diet is not as perfect as it could be, but it's mostly under control. It reduced my inflammation and so therefore reduced my acne. It eradicated my Malassezia folliculitis or Pityrosporum folliculitis, otherwise known as fungal acne. It eradicated that. So basically, probiotic, right? Probiotic creation in the body. You know how you get probiotics in yogurt? It's almost as if the good bacteria gets created in the body by these things as well, because it reduced it. The antifungal benefits of some of these things. The onion, the foods too. I was both eating whole foods like fruits and vegetables and whatnot, trying to make sure that they're good on my plate, but also these seeds. The combination became antibacterial and antifungal, and so they reduced the fungal acne on my face alongside the P. acnes bacteria that caused regular good old-fashioned acne on my face, and so there was an overall reduction of acne on my face, and my face looked normalish. It's not perfect, guys. I still need to go and see a dermatologist, but it's enough to make sure that I don't get such bad acne scarring, like almost as if it was like ice pick even. It's enough to keep that at bay. Plus the benzoyl peroxide, long way, like it goes a long way. It's such a good antibacterial for the face. The benzoyl peroxide, the coconut oil, thanks to Beauty Within, like Beauty Within, you know that channel, like whoa, the Beauty Within channel was the one that taught me that coconut oil is like a buster. Like a massive acne buster, if at all your skin can take it. Sometimes because it's highly comedogenic, it can cause acne, but just test it, and if it works out for you, then you're good to go. It's also anti-aging, it's high in vitamin E, high in antioxidants, and I tried it. I was like, Beauty Within says that coconut oil is an acne buster, so let me try it. And I did, and it worked. Like a combination of coconut oil, and I've got like oily skin, so coconut oil would not be recommended for me, but for me it just like works. There was a season when I was even doing oil cleansing. I loved how it made my skin pop, but I was getting acne. So even though I was using oils that were light with very high linoleic acid versus oleic, because that was my skin type, so I went for like grapeseed oil, like very light oils. I was breaking out, but that's the thing, I was not getting acne. I was getting Malassezia folliculitis. I was getting fungal acne. So because I had a yeast problem in my body, like the Lord basically enabled me to understand that if you can reduce bread intake, you're good. Now my mother cooks during the weekend, so we eat cooked food. And on the weekends there is no cooked food, so we eat bread. And every single time after a weekend that's progressed, I've got a new pimple. I found out that way that I've got a yeast issue, and the yeast that people put deliberately, like, leaven, and the Bible says, don't, beware the Pharisee leaven, yeast. The yeast is what causes breakouts in me. So I have to limit or restrict how much bread I eat, but I can't, because what am I going to eat on the weekends? I can't just, you know what I mean? So I then realized that the way to eradicate or circumvent breaking out into some kind of a pimple because of bread, can I perhaps make that sandwich less afflicting to my person? So I started to see if I shouldn't take cheese out. I was a massive fan of cheese, and still am to this day. And when I stopped eating cheese, I haven't even stopped entirely because I come from eating cheese. That's why I've got this on my face and underneath here as well now. When I extracted cheese from my bread, then I stopped breaking out every single time I ate bread. So basically the Lord told me, you love pizza, I know. You love bread, I know. But just keep it at a minimum. Like, they don't need to be eating that every day. They don't need to be having a burger every day. Just make sure that you eat cooked food using whole grains like rices and whatnot. And your acne will be kept at bay. And if you want your bread, make sure that it's a treat once in a week, and even then 2 slices of pizza and not 4. So I was like, okay, as long as I can be able to eat a donut every so often, then I'm good. And the Lord has been like, yeah, just make sure that it's every so often and not every day. So now I can eat bread again, but I need to make sure that it's like low-key bread. Like, I cannot cheese bread, be afraid, be very afraid type establishment thing. Just eat bread and make sure that there's no cheese in your bread. It's going to be very hard to walk away from cheese, and you know what, I'm not going to do it permanently. I will literally take the risk of breaking out into 1 or 2 every so often just to like enjoy my pizza, but I will make sure that if it's going to happen, it happens once a month, and hopefully because of everything else that I'm doing, it's going to be eradicated, right? Cool. So I found out that I have a low-key yeast allergy, and so the way to eradicate intake of bread because of the yeast that is therein are all of these other, and like these ingredients that you bring into your body that are antifungal, that are antibacterial, they've got all of these power properties in them. They balance out. It's like going to the doctor to get your antibiotics because you've got a flu, and then you've got an issue with vaginal thrush, and the doctor's like, alongside taking these antibiotics, also take these antifungals so you don't break out into like fungal acne on the face or even vaginal thrush down below. So you take the combination. Therefore, when I eat bread, insofar as I have taken these drinks of mine, there is a balancing out of the fungal overdrive in the body, and so I'm good. And not just bread, not just these seeds, but also food. Like, that's why I have an obsession with onion, even though I wasn't a fan of it. At some point I used to pick out all of my onions out of my food. Now I keep them in there. Also, any foods at all that are sour, that have been fermented basically, so like pickles, what do you call this, like canned onions that have indeed been pickled as well, kombucha, ngomazi, right, anything that's been fermented, milk, but like be very afraid, not even milk, sorry, yogurt, the process of getting it to be curdy is a fermentation process. That is a boosting of probiotics, and they deal with fungi in the body. They bust a cap on the knee of a yeast overdrive in the body. So foods that are pickled, like, don't pick them out. Or burgers, like, eat your onions, eat your pickles, eat your ngomazi. Like, I used to love ngomazi as a kid, so it turns out you can still like eat it. Anything at all that has been fermented will be very high in probiotics, and that helps. Those probiotics help keep a balance in your body that also makes sure that there's not a yeast overdrive. There's a healthy amount of yeast in every human's body. It is needed in order for some biological processes to happen, but when there is too much of it in the body, it can cause breakouts into hives. You can get fungal acne, you can get vaginal thrush, you can get wada, and there are some people who are more susceptible to increases of fungi in their body than others, and I'm one of them. So I learned this in the season. I never would have been diagnosed with that by a doctor if at all I was still walking these streets, because I would have continued to put a band-aid on cancer and spray cologne on a corpse. So I finally was able to deal with the root causes in my body. I was able to find root causes of things that I was struggling with in life, and these things that I discovered have really gone a long way for me. But then Barbara choked up my supply of money. She stopped my supply of money. I had a season where my hair was growing like wildfire. Like, literally, when I was planning on clearing acne and my hair grew, everything of my body grew. My skin started to glow across my body. Cellulite started to get busted around my butt. Muscles started to thicken. So many of these seeds are also plant-based proteins. And so instead of taking creatine or, these powders, wheat powder that you buy at the store in order to make sure that your workout, like, you get the best bang for your workout, the thickening of your muscles and whatnot, like feeding you with protein, I found out that it is possible to get protein shakes into your body, protein supplements that people use in order to improve performance in light of their athletic activity. You can get them from food, and this goes such a long way for athletes. If you think about actual athletes that have to compete internationally. They cannot be taking drugs. They can't take steroids. They can't take ABC. So if they eat certain foods, they get the same level of impetus and push. In the season, I literally learned that the biochemical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, is killing the world unnecessarily. I learned that many of the things that improve people's performance, I even found out that there are analgesic properties in certain foods, like turmeric has pain-killing properties. So when you have a headache, like, take it. But because we've gotten ourselves used to all of these drugs, like taking all of these pills, sometimes, the analgesic properties of foods aren't strong enough because our bodies have developed a tolerance to the drugs. So we have to take a grandpa. But if you don't have a history of constantly popping a grandpa every time you have a headache, next time when you have the smallest little amount of pain, literally mix a little bit of black pepper with some turmeric and it'll be gone in a whiff. Anywho, I found out in the season that the pharmaceuticals industry is how it is that we're all going to end up taking the mark of the beast, frankly, because we're going to be made to get reliant on drugs that have replaced God's way of healing our bodies. Like, just eat. Food is medicine. That's what Sunil Dand likes to say. Food is medicine. And I've learned that food is medicine, indeed, in the season. It improved my toning, my muscle development. It improved my cellulite appearance. It improved my skin tone. It made me glow and glisten. I was able to even learn of the health properties of certain foods topically. So I pick aloe vera from the garden and I use it as a moisturizer. I have been fading my hyperpigmentation using slices of potato, and that has also brightened my face because potato is generally brightening. So I am looking a little bit spunkier than normal. There was a time when I was also putting onion on my face, but it smells, so we got rid of that. But now I don't smell anymore. I have discovered that you can boost collagen in your body and so therefore get the effect of a Botox injection by simply taking certain food, like drinks, foods, over a certain amount of months. That's when you're going to start to see the results. And this is where I'm going to get to the point in question pertaining my persecution, my abuse, and what it is that people have done to me and what God was actually rather doing, so that I might find literally a silver lining at the end of each cloud, right? I bought these drinks, and not these drinks, but these foods, and I use them as drinks. I also, cinnamon, I found out, like, I'm slender. I don't really gain weight. It's like naturally occurring, but women in my family do gain weight at a certain age, but I think it also comes about naturally as a result of childbirth. I've not had children yet, but I do believe that my iterative fasting goes a long way, but never mind the fasting, my to keep me skinny, but also cinnamon is not only an appetite suppressant, not that I'm trying to suppress appetite or anything like that, but apparently, allegedly, it's so fat busting that if you have like a spoon of cinnamon with your food every day, it'll just fight like fat on its own. And it also has all of these other benefits. It's a skin powerhouse and a hair powerhouse. Mustard seeds, like a myriad of these things. Literally, there's like so much that you can buy at the store, and within a reasonable budget. Like literally $600 did this for me, and a little goes a long way. I literally take a pinch of these things, and so the ingredients last me about 2 months with every single purchase. Maybe once a month I might have to replenish one thing. Like right now I have to replenish the fenugreek because I did not buy enough. I did guys let you guys know, as well as the sunflower seeds, but otherwise they tend to last me 2 months. So basically it's like 300 rand a month that I have spent. And I mean, guys, how many of you have walked into a doctor's office, a plastic surgeon's office, and gotten like a collagen injection? No, not a collagen injection, sorry, but like a Botox injection for 300 rands. How many? Not many. And the thing about those injections is you have to keep on going back to get them. After a season they fade and you must go back and pay those thousands of rands again. And I, for 300 rands, have been getting collagen, not collagen, but Botox injections every single month. Every month, literally, my skin glowed, I popped, I learned about the benefits, the vitamin, the anti-aging benefits of egg yolk and egg at. That face mask of mine that I do goes like a long way. Like literally, I glow as a result of what it is that I am out here in these streets doing. And I'm grateful to the Lord for helping me maintain something that people have been trying to take away from me, my glory, like, period. So these ingredients that I bought recently because of help that I got from somewhere, I told you guys where the help comes from. I was with someone. It's over now anyway, right? So like things have gone awry, but as a result of purchasing these drinks, I want to now show you how I make them, but I also want to use them as a powerful analogy in order to help you understand what God was doing with me in the season, and why it is that it appears the wicked are prospering, why it appears as if though they're getting away with murder, why it appears as if though it's over for me and they are going to be okay. No, I'm in a season of testing and trial, and I'm Job, and the Lord has saw it fit to give me a new career. Back when I was still employed, the prayers that I used to pray to the Lord was, God, please give me a job that I will enjoy, love, like almost as if it was not even a job. And this is how God has given me that job. I was unhappy in my 9 to 5. Yes, it was giving me a decent salary, decent enough to buy me cars and homes and live cushy, comfortable, and not be underestimated by some shallow men these shallow guys who like women being 50-50 and whatnot. It rescued me from the futility of the middle class disease, okay? This persecution rescued me from the futility of the middle class disease. It rescued me from the futility of being with a man that is actually weak, but he thinks he's strong because he's making money. A man that has no character. A man that can never be with a woman because she doesn't have a salary or a job. A man that literally gauges his own pocket against a woman's. A man that does not know how to provide, care, protect for a woman when she is suffering, when she's in want, when she is basically abandoned and vomited by the whole world. Like, I got rescued from men like those. If I had stayed in corporate, I would have ended up married likely to some like shallow little kick and babosa wearing random with a fitted suit that earned a strong salary, drove a big car, lived in a big house, and so therefore made me believe somehow that he is potentially big. But then as soon as like stuff hit the fan in my life, he would have then gone awry. I would have all of a sudden not been in his league anymore. He would have married me based on my status. He would have married me based on the fact that I have this job, I have this degree, and these are the kinds of people that I frequent socially with. He would have married me based on the shallowest and most futile of things. And so when things went awry, he would have gone awry. And also another woman dangling better stats would have likely been run off with him. Like I would have gotten cheated on, like random stuff like that. So God saved me from the futility of the mindset of the middle class. He rescued me from getting married to some dude who equates his value to his degree, his education, and his earning potential, his car, his house, and what people think about him, what job, what his title is. He would have, he rescued me from the futility of a dude that's going to be like, I'm a CEO, just appreciate that you got that for a man. No character at all, no strength, no girth, no like weight, of substance, no true godliness. God saved me from that by making me a woman that has nothing to her name. So those random kick and babosa wearing pinstripe suit randoms with their freaking hair, like what are you doing with hair as a man? Like chop it, okay? The Bible says men should not have hair. Like him with his like little tiny German cut looking like MC Hammer in the 80s. Like that little random dude walking around in corporate South Africa with a funny little hairstyle, spending way more time in front of the mirror than his women in the morning because everybody's busy out here using hair products. That dude would have been my husband. I would have married a dude with hair on his head, and that would have been like a mega turn off. And so for those reasons, God was like, well, you want a man that's a man like through and through, thorough, whether he's poor or he's rich. I'm gonna make you poor so that you do not get married to the kind of guy that you're going to imagine is cool and good and proper and kosher and consecrated purely because he's in good times. And then next thing, find yourself in a marriage where after a couple of years has progressed, this Okie that's busy professing my name is then going to show his true colors because things are hitting the fan either in his life or yours. Type setup thing. So basically God rescued me from the futility, like I said, of the middle class by making me poor. He raised me out of corporate, gave me a job this here that I am doing, and made sure that the kinds of guys that I would have ended up married to because of my status and my standing back then don't even look at me because they're shallow. They're shallow. And with those kick and babosas, they kick women's hearts and pierce their souls and make sure they can't breathe anymore. I was rescued from futile men, futile friends, futile civil society. I was rescued from it with this poverty, and alongside the rescuing, I was given skills. And these skills, with them, am I then going to establish a new career that's not going to be to feel like a job? Because do what you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. It will be stuff that I love. I love to give counsel. I love to advise, enable. I also love the Lord. So everything is about Christ, and in everything then being about the Lord Jesus Christ. I am able to edify a planet of individuals and then also get my own, such that those random fools that pass me up because I lost a job, they're gonna look back and literally sing that song, yeah, Tori Kelly, see me with her, and it crushes me inside. I guess I should stop thinking about you every time. Maybe this is what I needed. Maybe this is a sign, baby. I've been blind to reality. Tell me, baby, every little glance my way. Every time you wanted to hang, you seem so interested. Would you tell me, was it real or was it all in my head? They will literally go on to be like, she's so pretty. But instead of she's so pretty, it's like, he's so handsome. You two look so great. Time for me to move on now. It was probably just a silly crush anyway. But I just can't help but think maybe we could have had something. Have I really been blind to reality? Tell me, baby, every little glance my way. Yeah, they're gonna sing that. They're gonna regret passing me up purely because I was going through with middle class random fools. They're gonna regret passing me up because I lost a job, I lost status, I lost my degree, I lost my ability to walk around in corporate, I lost my ability to drive a big fat chunky car, I lost my ability to say, look at me, I'm a graduate and I've got a PhD. I lost my ability to impress the freaking shallow middle class, and what that did was rescue me from their futility. Rescue me from their shallowness. And then the Lord will restore me in due season to a career that's going to make me more money than I ever could have before, because that's just the thing about being an entrepreneur. You go from earning 30, 40, 50, 60,000 rands a month in corporate to having limitless earning potential because you earn money based on sponsors that come your way, based on the growth of your numbers, ad revenue. Like literally go and ask anybody on YouTube that has a very successful channel how frequently they get paid. Do they have to wait until the 25th of the month? Literally at the 25th of the month, of which closer to payday, you're even struggling to pay for petrol to get to work. Do you wait until the end of the month? Go and ask them how frequently they get paid. Some of them get money in, like, what is this, delivered into their accounts, falling into their accounts, getting deposited into their accounts daily. They don't know how much they're going to be earning every single month. It literally depends on how well their videos do. So basically, people have buxomed, improved, magnified my earning potential by breaking the crap out of my heart. So thank you. You did me good. You gave me a career and limitless earning potential. I just have not quite gotten to a point where I've got the kinds of numbers that would do that for me. And so for those reasons, I'm still underestimated by the same people. But in the run up to, God is keeping me beautiful. So all of these things that I have done have enabled me to find new skills, new areas of income, and a new future. A future as well, where I'm going to get to be a stay-at-home mom that's still earning a whole bunch of money. So I'm going to be there for my children. I'm going to be able to go to their soccer practice, their netball practice. I'm going to be able to take them to chess club or dance classes. I am going to be able to be a mother that's there for her children all day long, cook for them, be at home, and still earn a big fat chunky salary. Do you know what? That is the best of both worlds. It's called getting your bread buttered on both sides. Many of you women in corporate, you CEOs, you random executives, you gotta go to work and leave your kids feeling like, but mommy, money is not going to buy me love. Your kids end up also like passive aggressive and upset because you weren't there at their netball practice. Your children get grazed by nannies. They get breastfed by irresponsible women that think they can breastfeed your children. Your kids literally end up like these spoiled brats that don't know how to respect in society because their parents were not there to teach them the way. Your daughters end up dating gangsters and your sons end up impregnating women at the age of 18. That is what happens when you are not there for your children, okay? And the Lord has made sure that I can make enough money to pamper my kids with ballet lessons alongside be there when they do their recitals. Because He has given me entrepreneurship status and stay-at-home wife status. A woman that's going to be able to satisfy her husband with constantly being there at home for him, alongside take care of her children, but without having to deal with the sorrow of back in the day where women who are sitting at home don't have a salary, and so therefore they have to deal with a very disrespectful husband that she must just take everything in her stride of because she doesn't have money to get out. Yes. Both my husband and I are entrepreneurs, do you understand? Whoever he is. And both of us are going to be there for our kids' birthday parties, recitals, netball practices, soccer practices, raise them in the admonition of the Lord so they're not rude like some of y'all's kids who underestimate people who are poor. And so get to have our bread buttered on both sides. That is what God was doing for me in this time where you all got to get away with murder, walking in and out of your offices while your young children have to stay at home with nannies and only see you once a day, and so therefore get used to the fact that mommy is barely home. Have closer relationships with a freaking living domestic worker than they do with you. You who are always over here, go laptop, busy when you could rather be there to take care of your baby. I am going to have a swimming pregnancy because I'm going to get to sit on my couch all day while the belly grows instead of walk up and down looking like a waddling duck in corporate, all pregnant, because I have got a job to do and I also got to pay for that medical aid that's going to make sure that I give birth to this baby in a private hospital. God gave me everything I asked for in prayer. It might look as if though my prayers have not been answered, but no, darlings, they have been. I'm going to get to literally record my entire life as it happens. That pregnancy when it happens, how it is that I'm taking care of my baby to make sure I don't get stretch marks. Am I still getting fit? How to work out when you are pregnant? How to go to the store when you are pregnant? How to rather order a takeout instead of go to the store when you are pregnant? That is my life, literally covering the glory of God in the life of a woman that got kicked out by a country that is ridiculous, that loves to be rich, everything and anyone around her in these streets. The Lord is growing me in talents and enabling me to be an advisor of people as to how to live a godly life. I am going to get to make lots of money while being there for all the people in my life that I love. And if I want to take a break, that's just the thing about having a successful channel on YouTube. You know how when some of y'all go and leave, you get unpaid leave because you have exceeded your break, like women who have maternity leave have got to go and claim from UIF to supplement a salary type setup thing. Yeah, no. The thing about taking a break, like, oh my goodness, I've been doing so many videos, I'm tired. Plus I'm like 10 months pregnant like an elephant. Like an elephant. I can decide to be like, you know, I'm gonna chill, I'm not gonna do anything for 4 months and the money will still come in, because the thing about earning, the earning potential about videos on YouTube is it's based on how many people come back and click on you. So even a video that is like 5 months old still gets looked at and makes you money. So I can take holidays whenever I want. I can literally be at leisure, put my feet up, do nothing, decide that, you know what, I'm tired of recording. All of these negative comments on YouTube are breaking my heart. And so I am going to take a sabbatical from doing videos and I will still earn money. That is what God was doing for me. So do you still think I'm cursed? Do you? Or do you think I'm blessed? Do you think the Lord made sure that I have weared all these UV rays from like literally driving in traffic every single morning and night while my skin ages because I'm pissed off by somebody here in the office? Or if the Lord kept me incubated where there's barely any sun coming in to crack my skin so that I can look 25 at 37? Do you not realize that the Lord has done that for me? Do you not realize that your underestimation of people who lack in this world is very antichrist? Do you not see that by underestimating a person because they're unemployed, by underestimating a person because they've done this or that, because they've got this kind of rap sheet, by underestimating people because they've been to prison, by underestimating people because they have lost everything, you literally put them in a position to come and handle you when they get restored back to normal again after coming from a position of obscurity. God has helped me gain perspective and see things as I ought. I used to be classist just like you bunch of buffoons. I used to also think that what gave me value is the fact that I am sitting out here in these streets as a person with a job that most people in this country struggle to get because I'm educated and I'm smart and I am paid. I used to think that way until I got so badly underestimated that I could relate with the struggles of domestic workers, of gardeners, with the struggle of these guys that stand on the side of the street and say, peace job, I will tell you how. I now know what it is like to grovel like people who are undermined in society, for not fitting with the middle class, for not being with 9 to 5s with degrees. I now know what it is like to have somebody think you lack value purely because you iron clothes for a living. I know what it's like to be a domestic worker. And in being that way, I therefore am put in a position to appreciate love when it comes to me without undermining it for not having money, without undermining it for not having certain sneakers, for not wearing ikikomboboza, for not having a degree, for not maybe literally, my goodness, Joseph was a prisoner before he became the prime minister of Egypt, and you are naive, South Africa, to think this way as well. You're foolish and you're stupid because many of the revolutionary leaders that got you out of apartheid did not even have a matric. They did not even, Jacob Zuma made a matric, and yet he became the president of this country. You are naive to think the way you are given what history we have as a country, especially you black people, to underestimate people because they haven't finished their degrees, because they haven't gone through matric. You have gone on to regress your country to a place that it got rescued from. Our struggle leaders in this country, many of them did not even have matric grade 12, and yet you are sitting where you're sitting having forgotten where you come from. You forgot where you come from, and I'm glad I was a degree at Wits. And so because I'm underestimating honors wabo, people that got their PhDs, people that got their doctorate degrees literally are sitting on top of my chest acting like I'm not smarter than them. If I wasn't able to finish my degree, I would have likely graduated cum laude, better than you. You all passes got 50%, literally just been barely scraping through. When I was an A student, you literally messed with the wrong woman. And now I realize that corporate is not for me, it can't be. Unless of course it's my own corporate that I create, where I create jobs. And so I guess I'm going to have to do something else out here in these streets. God is helping me conquer all of your abusiveness, all of your classism, all of this middle class rubbish that you're walking in. You waddling duck in corporate, 7 months pregnant, while you can't even catch a breath because you have a deadline to meet, and the baby might even come out of your belly early because you're too freaking stressed out in the job. You, who cannot even enjoy your pregnancy at home, underestimate me, who's going to sit around like I'm in a hammock all 9 months long without lifting a finger and still make money. That is what God is doing for me. So thank you very much for helping me get over these fluffy men, so I can be loved by a real man. A man that is going to understand what it means to be a man to a woman, as opposed to think about these shallow things that make you forget who Jesus is. So that said, I'm going to show you my anti-inflammatory drinks and how I make them and what they've done for me. They've grown my hair, they've acted like Botox injections on my face, they've kept me looking 25 at 37, they've built my muscle, and they have made me better than you. Ooh, better than you. Even though you're sitting there with a freaking 9 to 5, I'm better than you. Whether or not you are gloating over the fact that I have got nothing in comparison to you. So that said, allow me to show you my drinks, ladies and gentlemen, and what I put in them, okay? Here they are. My mason jars. I hope you're impressed. I'm gonna go and boil some water. What I need to put in here needs me to soak them up in water for a season before they will do their thing. I've already had my drink for the morning. I'm currently fasting. By now I'd be eating breakfast, but I'm not doing that because I'm fasting, because I need to conquer your insanity and your insidiousness, your underestimation of literally the wrong person in the worst way, nochal, because you're gonna get something handled. Like literally to ignore so much crying and so much sorrow because you have no self-control. Well, guess what? I have self-respect. Shut up. So what do I put in my drinks? They are high fiber, so they make me poop. They are high nutrient, so they make my hair grow, my skin clear. They reduce inflammation in my body. They reduce overall fungi in my body. They're antifungal, antibacterial, multi-nutritional, and they change every single month, depending on what I've been able to afford to purchase. And whenever I buy a new ingredient, I will let you guys know what's in it. So what you're looking at presently now, green tea. This is the cheapest green tea brand I could find at Dis-Chem, Tetley, because I'm broke. I tend to drink the tea leaf. I don't just drain the tea out from the tea bag, but I, like, for the purposes of the fiber, actually like drain the entire sash, spill the entire sachet or tea bag into my cups. So that's what that is. Let me just grab, I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm just gonna make my coffee too. I already showed you my coffee yesterday. No, the other day, how I make it. I add some of these ingredients to it. So that was green tea. This is now ginger, ground ginger. Real life ginger, like the vegetable itself, is better. For a myriad of reasons, it's fresher, but for the sake of preservation, I still got the ground ginger because I can't, like I said, afford to buy anything fresh every single week. So if it was up to me, it would be actual ginger, but I don't have the luxury to do that. And remember, I said a little goes a long way. That's how much ginger I put in each of these. The people on the internet use bigger portions than me, but I don't use big portions because I'm broke. So I try to make it last a month, right? In terms of pricing, ginger is among the cheaper spices. It's not that bad, like, at all. I really hope I don't run out of battery power, not battery, but space, because I've been struggling to upload my content. This here is a massive powerhouse, even in terms of hair care, as a, like, hair mask, right? If you boil it, I will show you when I do hair masks and stuff like that, what's going on. But it's also massive college, like, it's a youth vibrant thing. Like, it really helps with anti-aging. It's flaxseed, and it comes, it's very, very cheap. It's extremely cheap. Like, for this whole batch, I think it was like 35 bucks. And this tends to last me a couple of months, the way there's just so much of it in here. 500 grams, that's how much I have. And the thing with flax is, it is seeds, right? It's a seed, but it is highly recommended that you buy them ground, or if you can grind them yourself at home, if you want to do all that hard work, then do it. Grind them at home yourself, and then eat them that way. Because if you eat flax seeds whole, they will go inside your mouth and come out the other side undigested. Like, there's something covering the coating of the seed that makes it impossible for the body to digest. So you have to grind it. You have to grind it. So instead of grinding it, buy ground. However, flax seeds are nice and nutty and chewy, and they work really well with, like, biscuits and cookies and whatnot whole. But there is no need, like, they function as fiber, like roughage, to take your poop out to the other side whole. But if you want the nutrients out of it, you need it ground. If you also want to make like a hair mask using flax seeds, you should rather go for the seeds as opposed to the powder, so that you don't get the powder in your hair. So that's where the flaxseed powder goes. The flax seeds themselves, without being ground, go in handy. They come in handy when you actually want to use flaxseed for a skin mask or flaxseed for a hair gel. You must keep it in seed form, but I buy the flower version because I am deliberate about that life. This is moringa leaf powder, another powerhouse. It reduces high blood pressure. Like, my mother just got diagnosed with high blood, and she was never one to have such an issue. I literally add just a tiny bit with each thing. And I tried to get her on these drinks, by the way. I did. I tried to make her like a chia and moringa flax drink, because of how flax seeds and chia seeds create a gel. She hated the mucousy jelly consistency of it, and so stopped drinking my drinks. And then a couple of months down the line, the doctor diagnosed her with something she never used to struggle with. If anything, my mother used to struggle with low blood pressure, but now she's got high blood pressure. Maybe she's been stressing a whole bunch because she's afflicting her own child. I don't know. And I was like, but if you had, like, taken my advice all those months ago, you wouldn't have this issue, because these things are not only anti-inflammatory, but they also are anti-carcinogenic. Like, ginger has been known to
and onions have been known to cure cancer, never mind even prevent it. So what more else do they reduce in the body? Many of the issues that we have in our bodies are as a result of high inflammation. So I tried to get my mom on these things, and she would like drink them for like the first day or whatever. I also try to get her to buy berry juice, lots of it, because that's like another cheaper way to eat berries, right? And she just like would start for like all of 5 seconds and then stop. So I was like, I tried, right? And then the doctor diagnosed her with high blood pressure. And now she's freaking out. She's busy buying almonds and all that jazz to try and reduce inflammation. They also prescribed to her like cocoa, chocolate. They said eat chocolate. And this is because of the cocoa, like the massive benefits of cocoa. I also used to buy cocoa. There was a time when I was looking for cocoa at the store, but I couldn't find it because it was Easter and people were busy baking or whatever. Cocoa is a massive powerhouse in and of itself. And I'm like, woman, I try to make you drinks. Like the drinks that I drink every day, you are not doing them, but you're eating like one little slab of chocolate. You're eating one little almond. You're trying to reduce the high alcohol. Drink lama drinks one, but she doesn't like that. Like she literally, my mother, she acts like I'm not a genius. But anyway, whatever. This is fenugreek ground. You could have it as seeds as well. But the thing about fenugreek, I have to give this counsel. The juice or the glory, the beauty, the nutrient density of fenugreek is only made manifest if it gets soaked in water over about 8 hours. Then you will get the full nutritional power out of fenugreek. The same is also true if you're going to be using it as a hair mask in order to grow your hair, to strengthen it. It functions as a very strong protein treatment. So to eat fenugreek when it's still like fresh out of the box is to get only 20% of its power. But if you leave it soaking in water for over 8 hours, you will get 100% of the power that you can get out of it. And it is acne clearing alongside hair growing. It's an Ayurvedic herb as well, and you're going to have some good times with it. Okay, now I'm into the same thing is also true with chia seeds. This is what you're looking at now, chia seeds, right? Chia seeds as well. Soak them in water for minimum 8 hours and then drink them. They will swell up, and so the nutritional profile of them will increase. Plus, if you eat them without them being all swollen, you could actually get some digestive issues, and you don't want that, right? High in fiber, high in protein, Botox vibes, collagen boosting situation. Okay, so my fenugreek little thingy mabobby and my chia seeds, I put them in the same establishment. Alrighty, cayenne pepper. Now, before I put in the cayenne pepper, I want you to look at this. It's turmeric, another anti-inflammatory powerhouse. And turmeric is cheap for the superfood that it is. So these are the kinds of things that you need to be aware of. Like price sensitivity, if you've got that as a problem, turmeric will not set you back any kind of nasty way. Alright, but I found out, that the turmeric that is in the United States sometimes has lead in it because of some illegal people. So with turmeric, I would greatly recommend that you buy it as a fruit whole, because that is unlikely going to have lead, because they want to sell it. They sell it by the kilogram or whatever, and so they want to increase its price, and so they add lead even though it's against the law, blah blah blah. So if you're going to be safe, just buy the actual root. It's also cheap, and chop it up and put that in your drinks and eat it and chew it, right? But if you're in South Africa, I think you're good. Like most of it is coming from India, Angazi type setup thing. So I'm in South Africa, so we get to do this. Many of the people who give me counsel are from the US, because they're the ones with the biggest algorithmic support by these channels. So that's how I know this. Righto, so turmeric it struggles to absorb in the body and so digest properly. The way that you increase the bioavailability of turmeric by 2000% to make sure you get all the nutrients all up in your body is by mixing it with black pepper or cayenne pepper. And I've got cayenne. Either pepper works, but I chose cayenne because it's got a much stronger nutritional profile than black pepper. You could add black pepper too if you wanted, just for the nutritional benefits of black pepper as well. But be careful if you've got like a sensitive stomach to pepper. You don't even need that much pepper, just a pinch, and it's enough to increase the bioavailability of turmeric by 2000%. So if you add turmeric in a drink and you don't add black pepper, you're basically wasting time. Okay, so I'm all cayenne. I've got cayenne right here, and that's how much I add in each of my drinks to supplement to increase the bioavailability of turmeric, and also to get the benefits of cayenne pepper just by looking at this cayenne pepper as well. Look, what's written on it: boost your immune system naturally. Cayenne pepper, like these things are medicine. Can't say that enough. Food is medicine. And then I add sunflower seeds as something nice and chewy in there. I'm literally out of sunflower seeds, but they're cheap. Well, in South Africa they currently are, because I don't think we get them exported or imported from the Ukraine or Russia. But one of these days the price of them is about to like skyrocket because of what's going on because Russia and the Ukraine each combined provide 50% of the world's sunflower anything, oil, seeds, blah blah. And so these are about to run out, and I'm already running out, so I need to replenish them. They're not that expensive. For a lot, for like 250 grams, maybe even 500 grams, you spend like under $50. So that's that. And they're also biotin heavy. They've got a lot of natural, some of these things you must be careful of. They've got fats like seed fats. So if you don't want to, like, if you've got sensitivity pertaining gaining and losing weight, be careful with seeds. But I'm not on that tip right now, right? So any seed at all will have a high fat content in it, like high, but plant-based type fats. But I'm not even trying to like fight anything of that nature. But they're also very high in protein, vitamin E, biotin, all that jazz. Okay, so this is now cinnamon that you're looking at. But before I add the cinnamon, I tend to add cinnamon last because save the best for last. I like to chew, like lick on it, because it's like super delicious. Spirulina, which is algae that you find that they have reduced to a powder. Spirulina is very expensive. So too is moringa, by the way, leaf powder. But I get them anyway because like life sucks without them. For 100 grams, each of them are like $50. Some people might not think that that's a lot of money, but in my life, for something as tiny as 100 grams, 50 rands is too much. But that's because my life sucks, right? I'm poor. So that is moringa. I'm not even done yet. I then go in with regular Ceylon tea. Right? 5 roses. Where is it? The 5 roses, like regular Ceylon tea. Yeah. I empty the tea bags because tea is medicine. Teas are good, like they're really good. High in antioxidants. Woo! They can also be very high in what do you call this? Okay, I just made such a mess over here. They can also be very high in caffeine, so you must be careful how much you take in a day if at all you are sensitive that way. But for me, I need all the energy under heaven I can get for exercise, so I'm not that particular. So yeah, I also spilled the tea bags out. I literally messed the kitchen counter by tearing up a tea bag, so the sooner we get this done, the sooner I can clean up this mess. But you don't see it. I see it. Do you want to see it? Yep, there's my mess. Anyway. Third tea bag. Okay, now I'm in a rush to be done here because I've just messed up so much and I don't like seeing messy environments. Okay, cool. So that's that. And then I go in with sugar. Okay, I'm gonna add coffee to my drink, the coffee. The tea, yeah, that one. Just there. Sugar. I add sugar for taste, guys. Some of y'all, if you don't want, you don't have to add sugar, but I add it just to make the drinks taste better. I add 3 teaspoons to each one. I have a thing about sugar. It's problematic for me, so please pray for me. And also, there are sugar alternatives that I could have gotten that are far healthier, like coconut blossom sugar, etc. But I don't have that money, so this is regular good old-fashioned cane sugar, and we're just running with it. But for those of you who can get alternatives or who can avoid the sugar altogether, do that. But I don't, because I need my drinks to taste like something that I actually enjoy. They taste like a milkshake every morning, and I love it for those reasons. A very healthy one that just has a little bit of sugar. I mean, come on, relax, okay? Like, so 3 teaspoons each. Guys, I drink a lot of sugar, so please just, like, I told you, I get away with such murder because of so many other things that I do to eradicate my issues. I literally drink all that much sugar. But in defense of myself, ginger takes away the sweetness of sugar. So too does cinnamon. So that's all to circumvent that problem. Okay. Righto. So this mess over here, I just want to get it out of the way. Let's put the tea bags out. This is what has helped me. Let me put the flaxseed away. Right. So these are all the ingredients that I have. When times are good, I often have cocoa as well. When times are good, I have got cacao. Is it cacao? What do I have? What else do I tend to have when times are better? Parsley, but you know, sometimes Barbara buys parsley, but sometimes she doesn't. Whatever it is that I can find in the house, I kill it with, okay? So that is natural, like 100%, anything 100% natural, I'm running with it. So what we have in the house is coriander, right? If it is a natural spice that's 100% whole and has not been mixed with anything else, add it. I'm not a fan of these spices that are mixed with all different kinds of things and weed powder, wada. So the coriander, then my mother bought, I then put in here. Also another thing, nutmeg. Yes, when times are good, I also have nutmeg, but nutmeg can be really expensive. So these things all have some kind of nutritional profile that have powers to make your body dance like you're those penguins or those animals in Madagascar. Yummy. Anyway, they also have in the house thyme. So it depends really what is available. A lot of times it's parsley, but there's no parsley right now. And I've got now thyme. So then I add a pinch of that. Pinch. 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 That's coriander and thyme. And she's also got something called oreganum, and it's just that alone. You need to look at ingredients, it is important. Maybe one day I'll come here and I will explain to you how to read ingredients. There was like a sachet of spice that my mom bought that had rosemary in it. Rosemary is a powerhouse as well when it comes to hair, what, right? It had these like black seeds in it too. And I was like, oh my goodness, and then I like just went on right ahead and put it in there. So here is a spice called butter chicken. What I tend to do is just read ingredients: crushed chili, cumin, caraway seeds, coriander seeds. If I am content with it, then I will use it. But if it has like powder, like bulking agents in it, then I don't put it in. This does not have bulking agents, but because my mother has not unsealed it, because she hasn't opened it, I don't use it. But I tend to read the ingredients to see if it's only got whole ingredients in it. Otherwise, we are not interested. And this here looks pretty good, but I've already got coriander in here. But it's got cumin, caraway seeds, and crushed chili. Like I said, a chili is also a natural analgesic. Just putting that out there. I used to put this in a blender and crush it in order to get the benefit of some of these Ayurvedic herbs. What's in here are hints of what do you call this? Rosemary. But we're not using that right now. There was a time when I used literally curry powder to cure a headache, and it worked like a charm. But this here definitely has got bulking agents. This is curry powder. How you know not to use something. So like reading the ingredients, for instance, it's got coriander, wheat bran. It's a bulking agent. It's literally just something to make it bigger, thicker. And then they've got turmeric, chili, methi, garlic, cumin, cassia, celery, ginger, fennel. So it's got all whole ingredients except for one bulking agent. So if you want really wheat bran, by all means do you. But for me, it's like, no, it's okay. Like I'll pass. So cool. And then let me just finish it up with cinnamon, because you know, save the best for last, eh? Because I love cinnamon. Ugh. Like I just eat it, you guys, like sherbet. Okay, so cinnamon in my coffee, and then some cinnamon here, cinnamon there, cinnamon there. 300 Rand a month for a Botox injection. Worth it, man. I'm sorry, I'm gonna savor this. I'm fasting, so this does not count as breaking my fast, please. Cinnamon always comes out of my nose. And then it burns. You must be careful as well when it comes to purchasing these ingredients, because for the sake of making money, they sometimes add bulking agents. Just make sure that it's the 100% spice on its own. Like here, ingredients, it reads just cinnamon. Make sure that it says just cinnamon, okay? Because they call it cinnamon on the packaging, and then it's like mixed with wheat or whatever. Then it's not real cinnamon. You need to be careful to look out for that. And for those of you who have a little bit of money than Karabo, you can even be pedantic about checking for genetically modified or not. Like GMO. Rather go for non-GMO, because it's healthier. It's the way that God intended it, and so it is likely to heal you better. Otherwise, if you're broke like Karabo, you'll think about GMO when you start running a business that's actually making money. Okay. Righto. Okay, cool. So now here's my warm water that is going to cause this to soak for 8 hours minimum, and then we're going to have it after working out and in the morning tomorrow. I used to make a whole bunch of these just in terms of meal prep. These drinks, you can have like 10 in your fridge, so you don't have to make them over 5 days, right? I only have these 3 mason jars left. The others broke, so that's why I only have 3. Otherwise, so you don't have to do this every morning because it's laborious. It can be time consuming. You can make 10 or even 11. Literally, for up to a week will be how long you can have these drinks chilling in your refrigerator before you would need to throw it out because it's starting to get unpleasant or whatever. So just putting that out there. If you have more than 3 mason jars and you've got a fridge that belongs to just you, you're not sharing it with other people, and you can afford to put these things in your refrigerator for that long, then put them in there. And how I have them When there's a power cut, I have them just cold like that. They taste normal, it's fine. But I prefer them slightly warm, so I'll warm them for like a minute, 50 seconds. But you can have it completely icy cold if you wanna. It's winter right now. It's not comfortable to have it icy cold. Plus, I have this thing about my teeth. When I eat icy cold things, I get brain freeze. So that's why I warm them. Otherwise, you can keep them at the same temperature. It doesn't really matter. But we all know how microwaves can destroy the quality of things. So maybe you might want to drink it icy cold. I don't know. It's up to you. But as for me, microwave. Right. Cool. And then we add water to it. Water. Yeah, so South Africans are little witches, and in choosing to stay as witchy as they do, they are destroying my life. Like, I keep losing everything that I gain in my life because I feel like, God, I'm under a curse, I'm under a spell. Like, I'm a Christian, I'm supposed to be above all of this. Like, why do I keep losing everything that comes in? And the Lord, every single time, basically tells me it's a blessing in disguise. Like, everything that happens that goes awry in your life is a blessing in disguise. Look at everything else. Remember my benefits. Look at everything else that I have benefited you with. Because of the fact that people have hurt you, okay? You have gained instead of lost. But in the time when you're going through the moles and the pain, you don't see the gain. You learned how to do hair. You learned how to treat your body well with nutrients that are like cheaply acquired from the store. You learned how to fix skin. You learned how to build muscle. You learned how to eat for muscle development. You learned a lot of things because of the way that people treated you like you have lost everything and you will never be okay again. You look like you're cursed, but you're actually very blessed. And the blessedness of your person will only be revealed in due season after whatever it is that broke your heart. Whatever it is that shattered you to a million pieces and made you feel like I keep going through it. I keep going through it. You will see why I had to bring it into your life. You now know why you had to teach yourself how to do hair. Because remember that the last lady that used to do your hair put witchcraft on you so you would bring her more customers. Now you will never ever have to deal with that risk again. You will also never have to deal with issues that come onto you later on in life because you ignored them for so long medically. Because you are currently taking care of your body in a way that's giving you longevity. I have basically given you youth as a gift because people took away the last years of your youth. People took away my 30s and God gave me 20s for an outward appearance. People took away a decade in my life that would qualify as the last one where a person gets to call themselves a young person. So I just throw them in the fridge. They took away my last years of being young. And so the Lord decided to basically reverse time, put me in a time machine, a capsule, and said, you're going to look 25 all the way until you're 45. And he gave me a way to get that done such that since I'm not married yet, I don't have to worry that I'm going to be this old creased bride on my wedding day. Because what are the odds that I'm going to get like wrinkles tomorrow? What are the odds that I'm going to all of a sudden get all gray tomorrow? What are the odds that I'm all of a sudden going to start looking 50 tomorrow? Highly unlikely. I'm probably going to stay looking like this for at least the next 5 years. So basically, while everybody that hurt me the way they hurt me goes on to age, God has given me my youth back. So even though they've taken away my 30s, he gave me back my 20s, even though I didn't ask for them. Delicious. He provides for us exceedingly and abundantly above anything we can ever think to ask for. And so I was like, Father, please give me a husband. Father, please give me a job I like. Father, please give me children. And Father, please make sure I'm the most beautiful bride in the world when I get married. And he put me in so much squalor and obscurity that there was literally no way that a shallow man would ever want me. And so Father gave me a husband. He made me super duper healthy by getting me to like do all different kinds of random strange things so that by the time I have children, Father, I'm going to have healthy kids. He He kept me looking young through collagen boosting drinks and all different kinds of random strange things, dancing up and down, twerking like a monster even though I want to stop, so that father I can make for a really pretty bride when I finally get married. And then he took me out of a stupid job that I didn't even like that much and caused me to learn so many other random things that, father, I now have a business. All things worked out together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, so that father is going to handle you and prepare for me a table in the presence of my enemies. And what you got to say about that? I have cleaning to do and some people to handle and the future to go and grab and twerking to go build some muscle. I don't have time to cry all day because everyone I meet hurts me, because everyone I meet underestimates me, because everyone I meet uses my pain against me. I literally do not have time for people that are going to come into my life and treat me like trash because I'm currently going through a season where father is showing them flames. If you're one of those people, I would highly recommend you repent, or else. Bye.